I always knew that with Mitchell, the kids came first. Everything was about what's best for the students.
He just wanted to give every child a chance to get a great education. That was his bottom line, and he went right there every single day.
You know, it would be and is quite natural for all of us who are still here, having lost Mitchell, to ask ourselves, what do we do now? He would expect us to carry on.
He would not back down from decisions that he thought were right.
I think what we lost is an individual that, was a steadfast warrior when it came to education reform.
Mitchell Chester had backbone. When he made a decision, it stuck.
His drive was the status quo is not acceptable, and there's a better tomorrow for students in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
He was always very clear that despite whatever politics existed in a community, we were putting kids first, no matter what.
The more that Massachusetts could improve, the more that Massachusetts could demonstrate, not through rhetoric, but through results, what high standards meant for children, what meaningful evaluation meant for adults, what having good assessments means in terms of having some honesty and some integrity about our students improving or not. His leadership in driving Massachusetts absolutely helped to shape and drive and inform the national conversation.
He believed that all students could learn, and if students weren't learning, he didn't believe it was the students' fault. He believed it was the responsibility of the adults to help the students get to where they needed to be.
I remember how encouraging it was to have Mitchell there in my corner, cheering from Massachusetts, cheering for more accountability, cheering for more opportunities for kids of color, for low-income kids, for kids with disabilities, and kids who were learning English.
When I became superintendent in Fall River, Mitchell was clearly frustrated with Fall River's approach to education. So I knew when I became superintendent there that we needed to put kids first. We shared that vision in terms of a student-first agenda and that all decisions would be made around putting kids first.
Mitchell really believed that accountability also was something, people could rise to the standards. Students could rise to the standards, schools could rise to the standards.
There was a sense of urgency in his mind. Students who are in school only get one bite at the apple.
He certainly wanted to make sure that Massachusetts continued on the path of having, high quality standards, even better standards than we had.
He was a tenacious advocate for children.
I love to talk about how Massachusetts has the best public schools in the country. I am very proud of that. And Mitchell's strong leadership was a big part of why Massachusetts public schools lead the nation.
I think the fact that he became a leader on how the state might intervene, starting with Lawrence, expanding beyond that, including also more creatively with Springfield, was largely because he realized that despite all of Massachusetts' accomplishments, the state had to do even more.
The changes that were made in Lawrence, to many, were radical. I think there are many people that get stuck in the status quo. And in order to create those changes, the commissioner had to be courageous.
First of all, I think it's important for Mitchell's children and grandchildren to know he was proud of them. And what an amazing thing for them to know that their father was working as hard as he was and as well as he did on behalf of other kids just like them.
To Mitch's children and to his grandkids, and I'll try and answer this question without getting emotional, I want you to know that your dad and your grandfather was a great man. And I want to thank you for allowing him to be shared with all of us.
He was loved and respected by so many people, and that he had an influence on all of our lives.
He had a good heart, and he worked passionately to make sure all Massachusetts kids got a fighting chance to succeed. We all owe a debt to Mitchell.
He was a good man. He cared a great deal.